Kia ora, hello, I'm Eleanor. I live in New Zealand and I'm 20 years old. I have decided that I want to document parts of my life for fun, so here I am, and I thought I would do some video diaries every now and then. I don't know if it's going to be very consistent or anything. So my country has been in lockdown for the past couple of months, so I've been able to read a lot more than what I would usually, which has been really nice. Today I wanted to share with you what I read in September. If you hear any fumbling around, it's just my cat. So let's get into it. I started off with finishing the Twilight series written by Stephen Meyer. I read Eclipse this month and I read Breaking Dawn. I started this series early August and then I just couldn't stop reading. It was quite an easy read. The characters are very lovable and I grew fondly attached to every character, and because of the lack of connection with friends and family during COVID, the characters in these books would be kind of my friends. So it was bittersweet when I finished the series, as whenever I felt lonely I'd just open up a book and start reading and feel comforted by the characters. So I started this series because I started seeing Twilight all over my social media. I had seen the movies when I was younger and I enjoyed them, and so I figured that if I enjoyed the movies, the books are probably going to be better, and they were, so that was good. But yeah, if you're into romances or vampires, these are very good reads and would definitely recommend. I guess for those of you that don't really know the plot of Twilight, I'll just give you a quick little brief. It's from the perspective of Bella, who is a teenage girl who has moved from a big city to a small town named Forks to live with her father, and along the way she develops this relationship with a boy and discovers that he's a vampire, and it's just about the conflict of her loving something so dangerous. I really enjoyed these books and would definitely recommend and pass on to a friend. I'm also going to be reading the other books written by Stephen Meyer in the Twilight series, so like Midnight Sun and The Short Second Life of Britannia. I will definitely be reading those, so thank you to my friend who has lent me those. Oh look, there's Nina, so cute. I have thoroughly enjoyed reading these and would love to continue delving into the world a bit more. The next book I read, I don't have on me right now as I have loaned it to a friend, but the next book I read was No Longer Human, the adaptation by Junji Ito, whom I love. His other mangas that I have read, such as Tomi and Venus in the Blind Spot, he's a great illustrator and a great manga artist, and would definitely recommend that you look into his works. However, I was a bit disappointed with this manga. It was quite hyped. I've been seeing the original novel by Osamu Dazai all over BookTok, so I had quite high expectations, let's say. I don't know, it didn't click with me. I really struggled to read it, and the friend that I've loaned this book to is also struggling to read it. It was just a slog. Like, the characters' torment just kept on dragging on, and there was like no climactic end, and I was just kind of waiting and reading and hanging on, waiting for something to happen, and nothing ever did happen. And it just didn't have the same, I guess, charisma as his previous works. Like, it wasn't, I don't know, it just didn't click with me, so I didn't enjoy it, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. But you know, who knows, maybe the original novel is, I guess, better. But don't get me wrong, there was plenty of beautiful illustrations and amazing artworks within the book, but the narrative and the plot of the story just didn't work for me. The next book I read, I'll admit, I went to a bookstore, a local bookstore, and I saw the cover and I was like, ooh, that's pretty, I'll pick that up and have a look. And I read the brief, and it didn't seem as if it was something I would enjoy, but I bought it anyway. I thought I'd give it a go. I was intrigued and it did not disappoint. I absolutely love this book. It is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. Absolutely love this book. A really nice, light-hearted read. It did have the potential to turn very dark, but it didn't, so I'm very glad it didn't. yeah, it was just a lovely read. The first chapters in this book are just absolutely beautiful. This book is through the perspective of Clara, who is a form of artificial intelligence, and her, I guess, obligation is to be kind of like a nanny figure for young children. She sees, observes and describes ordinary things that we see every day and we walk past every day. It's just so beautiful, and it makes you really appreciate everything and things that we take for granted every day. Yeah, really enjoyed this book. Would definitely recommend. I must say that this book is probably one of the better reads that I read this month. And yeah, the next book that I read this month was given to me by a friend, so thank you. It's a well-known book series which I have never read, and I am a bit sad that I didn't read as a child, but she gave it to me as I was very, I guess, upset after finishing Twilight, because I lost my friends, and so she's like, oh, here's a new set of friends for you. So I started the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. I read the first book and absolutely fell in love. I'm just a bit upset because I wish that I read these books or had these books read to me as a child, because I feel like I would have appreciated them more as a child than a 20-year-old. However, as a 20-year-old, it is still an amazing book, and I'm definitely invested and going to be finishing the rest of the series. Overall, it's just a charming book. For those of you that don't know the plot of Harry Potter, basically follow Harry, who thinks he's an ordinary boy. Turns out that he's a wizard, and gets introduced to this whole new world that he never knew existed, and it's just about his journey with his friends Ron and Hermione at Hogwarts in the magic world. Would definitely recommend. I think it would have the most impact as a child. However, being a 20-year-old now, I still thoroughly enjoyed this book. And now for my final book that I read. It was given to me by an old lady who I see every now and then, and she always recommends me the best books, and I just love every book that she has given me or recommended me. And this one is The Paris Library by, sorry for my pronunciation, Janet Skillian Charles. As it says on the cover, utterly charming, and it is such a beautiful book. Even though at first I didn't think I would be into this kind of book, but absolutely loved it. I also love how this book is formatted. Like, I love it when books have like chapters, I guess, dedicated from different characters' perspectives. I love that. I don't know, I just like the feeling that you get two sides of the story. I like all those different perspectives of what's going on in the main plot. I really like that. This book follows mainly two characters, Odile and Lily. Now, we're introduced to Odile in 1939 as a young woman who is aspiring to be a librarian, and becomes a librarian at the American Library in Paris, where she meets all these charming characters. Then all of a sudden World War II happens. The librarians, including Odile herself, feel the need to remain open during these hard times, so people have a form of escapism through books, and I guess a form of hope. We then fast forward to 1983 in Montana, and we meet Lily, who befriends Odile, who is her neighbor. It kind of divulges into like their bond and their friendship. To me, this book is like people come to you when you least expect it, but when you most need it, and that is definitely what Odile and Lily are for each other. Would definitely pass on to a friend and recommend. I loved this book, thoroughly enjoyed it, and is one of the better reads that I read this month. I think that's it. Out of all the books that I read this month, my two favourite were Clara and the Sun and The Paris Library. Absolutely loved each of these books, and they were both books that I wouldn't have picked up, so I'm glad that A, one got recommended, and B, one had a really pretty cover, so I bought it. But yeah, I guess that just shows that give things a go even though you may not think that you would necessarily be interested in it at first. So those are all the books that I read this month. I have already got a stack that I'm planning to read next month, so I'm very excited to get into that. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I'm a bit sporadic. I have this tendency to overthink, and I can't articulate what I want to say. So sorry if it was a bit hard to follow. I think I'll probably do this, maybe try to do this every month. It could be like a little, I guess, virtual book club thing, and it might divulge into something else. I hope there are some books in there that you would like to read. Hi, you want to say bye? Say bye. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Happy reading and see you next time.